Hi again. We're on page 75 of Three Worlds, Plan of Redemption by Nelson Barbour, Charles Taze Russell. Nelson has been discussing the inspired chronology. That's his phrase. And that involves the English Bible chronology of the Old Testament and the New, the book of Acts specifically in the last episode. Not the Septuagint, which was the inspired Bible of the early church. He goes on, this 70 years terminated in the first year of Cyrus. He's got to the end of the inspired chronology here. King of Persia, to fulfill the word of the Lord by Jeremiah. That's 2 Chronicles 36 verse 21. At about this point of time, the Medo-Persian Empire takes its place as the second universal monarchy, Babylon having been the first. And it was at about this era that history has its birth. Prior to this, the most civilized nations, Babylon and Egypt, used only hieroglyphics, a method of picture writing by which dates and details of history could not be recorded. This, we know, is true in relation to Egypt and also to the Babylonians or Chaldeans, since specimens of the Chaldean hieroglyphics are now on exhibition in the British Museum. Well, this would all, of course, have to be updated now because a lot more things have been discovered since the 1870s. But from the beginning of the Persian era, the alphabet and a written language has been used by these nations. Hence, as far back as the first year of Cyrus, history is full and clear, while beyond that, it immediately drops off into twilight and the darkness of fable. And outside of the Hebrew language, there is no pretension to accuracy further back than the reign of Nebuchadnezzar. As soon as a written word language was used, the date of battles, eclipses, etc. were recorded, from which fact it is now in our power to determine dates with absolute accuracy. And when we can help ourselves, God ceases to do for us. That is, no need for inspired chronology now. From the first year of Cyrus, or indeed from the first year of Nebuchadnezzar, which was 19 years before the 70 years captivity of Jerusalem, that's an important point, which is much neglected among Jehovah's Witnesses today, there is no essential difference between the different chronological writers. The first year of Cyrus being BC 536, in which year the 70 years ended. Notice that difference, a difference of 1 year. So they have the Gentile time starting in 606. Place this 536 under the 70 and add 1872 AD, and you will have a total of 6,000 years. And then he gives you the chart going all the way from the primeval period of 1656 years right down to the Christian era, 536 years BC to Christ, and then this side of the Christian era, 1872, and then he has, as you might remember, he has you putting all this down on a sheet of paper yourself and then tallying it up, and then he has total 6,000 years. The 6,000 years did not end in 1872, but in the autumn of 1873. Thus, the 70 years desolation of Jerusalem began in the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah, as we have seen. That is Jeremiah 1 verse 3. The king Zedekiah was taken and the city broken up in the 4th or 5th month of his 11th year, according to Jeremiah 52 1-12. But the cities of Judah were to be desolate without an inhabitant, according to Jeremiah 34:22, which seems to be what God meant by making the land desolate, that it might enjoy its Sabbaths, 2 Chronicles 36:21. And it was thus made desolate and without an inhabitant. When Zedekiah was taken in the 4th month, the land was not desolate, for the Chaldeans left certain of the poor of the land for vine dressers and husbandmen, according to Jeremiah 52:16. And so long as they remained, the prophecy was not fully met, for the land was not yet enjoying her Sabbaths. But soon after, they all left and went down into Egypt, according to Jeremiah 43. This occurred in the 7th month of that year. Hence, the 70 years desolation in which the land enjoyed its Sabbaths did not begin until the 7th month after Zedekiah was taken. Nor did the 70 years desolation end when they received permission to return, for the land was still desolate until they actually got back again into their cities. This also occurred in the 7th month of the first year of Cyrus, the year they started to go back. And then you're given the link to Ezra 2, which gives the number of those who went back. And it seems they got back so as to be in their cities again in the 7th month. And this 70 years did not end until the 7th month of the year BC 536. And so it follows that 536 full years from that would not end until the 7th month, that is Jewish time, which is almost always at about the autumn equinox of the year 1 of the Christian era. And 1872 years this side of the autumn of 81 would end in the autumn of 1873, since 1 year from the autumn of 81 would not end until the autumn of 82, and so on. Now, all of this we need to say right here is based upon a misunderstanding of the 70 years prophecy, which after all is not just fulfilled in those chapters he's just given us from Jeremiah, but it was prophesied in Jeremiah 25 and 29, which you'll notice he doesn't deal with here. And his concluding thought is this: it was in the autumn of 1873 the present hard times, financial trouble, etc. began, as all will remember. And there it was that the day of the Lord began. The great day of the Lord is near, it is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry then bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress. This is all quoted from Zephaniah 1 verse 14. And this time of trouble, which began in the autumn of 1873, though but a ripple, is gathering headway, and will engulf all business, all order, all government, all society, until at last every man's hand will be against his neighbor, and there will be no more peace, and no hire for man, nor hire for beast, according to Zechariah 8 verse 10. These are the true sayings of God, and it is only in the Word of God these great events upon which the world is entering find their true solution. Well, it is true that the quotes are the true sayings of God, but I think Barbour and Russell mean more than that, just as they've now linked their chronology to inspired chronology in the prior videos we shot. Now they have got the chronology of the day of the Lord beginning in 1873 as the true sayings of God. Which leads to the next subhead, the times of the Gentiles. When will this day of the Lord end? And that's where 1914 comes in. So we'll link to a video we did on Amos, related again to Watchtower chronology. Woe to those who crave the day of the Lord.